That's a very strong point you're making. You're saying the government cannot afford to sit on the fence. Mr. Miliband, we've seen all these UN reports. We've seen the videographic evidence. Everyone sitting over here in Tamil Nadu and across India want to know, is that all this cause will be about, or will we ever get to see action? How do you translate all these reports that have been done, all these documentaries, how do you translate them into action, sir?
Well, enforceability is the other side of the coin to accountability. Accountability requires documentation. Enforceability requires the appropriate exercise of power. Now, the UN report specifies very clearly what enforcement mechanisms would be appropriate and correct. It says that the current mechanism that's been set up by the Sri Lankan government does not pass any international standards for proper enforcement. And of course, the UN report makes the critical point that individuals are personally liable for the actions that they've taken in the past. I think it's very important that when governments are held to account by an esteemed international body like the UN, all members of the UN stand up and make sure that it is enforced.
General Medavela, you're hearing from the former foreign minister. He says there is need for the Sri Lankan government to have an international investigation. Voices not just in Tamil Nadu but across the world rising against the Sri Lankan army, General.
Personal advantage.
Yeah, all these reports that have been compiled by the respective individuals are on secondary information. And it's from the third eye point of view. There is no necessity today to find and go into details of those, because those are biased and there is no truth in some of the facts that have been told. On the other hand, I would like to stress a point to say that as I said earlier, this is all revolves around in the European nations on the base of for their votes. Now, when you find the individuals who are living in those countries have their relations, friends living along with them without any permanent residency. The allegations or the demonstration always had been
No, you're finding a long-winded conspiracy theory over here. Sharad Kumar wants to come in and respond to what you're saying. He wants to respond to your conspiracy theory, Mr. Kumar.
I think General,
they are the same people who had portrayed all these.
You said, I think you should let me talk. The basic thing is, first of all, the General very clearly states that the Sri Lankan army is disciplined. I think he didn't see the video himself. We had seen it. After a dead body is there, they're kicking them on the chest, kicking them on the head, rolling them over, dragging them, throwing them down. He says, still that is life. Let him shoot him once again, kill him in cold blood. Once again, the page is alive, he does that.
General, there are naked women who've been raped. There are naked women who've been raped and your soldiers...
I don't think you've taken the butt and started hitting the
General Vedavela, your soldiers are discussing which of the naked dead women has a better figure. You're calling your army...
You're saying that.
Yeah, you're calling your army disciplined. Please respond to Mr. Kumar.
And it's also been authenticated with the word body. That is the truth.
Let him respond.
These are all fabricated stories. These are
How can it be fabricated? They're not making movies of graphics over here.
And these are being edited into this particular video. And there is no necessity for a soldier to look at a woman, a dead body, and illustrate on that. You go to the other video that was
one by one, please,
taken from the European state.
Okay, Rajesh Sundaram has a question for you, General.
How the atrocities have committed. We have lost over.
If we were to keep this aside, I'll go to another issue, which is about the use of banned munition. You know, for instance, there were cluster bombs that were used, there were chemical bombs that were used. There is evidence of that, which is also in there. You called it a humanitarian war. How could you use munition like that against your own civilians? How do you explain that? How can you call your army a humane army and the operation a humane operation if such tactics, such weapons were used?